Hi everyone. I wanted to go live before Game of Thrones starts because, quite frankly, in a couple minutes, everybody has much better things to do than watch me on whatever the social media channel is. I was going to say YouTube, but it's Facebook. So, yeah. I'm making an effort to come on here regularly and share some of the wisdom that I've been discovering over the last couple months and last couple years of working on myself. And every day I'm having breakthroughs and conversations with people that have really supported me to see the world in a different light. And so I wanted to share this evening about vision. I met somebody yesterday that is perhaps one of the smartest people that I've ever had an encounter with. And what struck me about that, like it sounds amazing, right? Like he was an aerospace engineer and a nuclear engineer, aerospace engineer, and mechanical engineer, triple major, and just has a videographic mind. And like, this person could be running a huge company, could be creating inventions that save the world, could be living this extraordinary life. And when you met them, they were like so ordinary. Their life was so ordinary, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what struck me is that when you don't have a vision for your life, it's challenging to create anything extraordinary, right? Even for somebody that's got an IQ of like who knows what, how high, it's challenging, because if you don't have a true north and a focus and a direction that you're heading in, like, life gets in the way, basically. So I really walked away from my conversation with this person like being just struck with like all of the resources that we have access to as humans, like our minds, our whatever's around us, like our environment, the people in our lives. Like, if we don't have something that we're actually trying to create that's extraordinary, then we can live our life, our entire life, business as usual. And it's like, there's so much more that we could be getting out of life, and so much more that we could be creating on the planet for other people and for ourselves, right? So, I don't know about you. Hi, Murray, how are you? Good to see you. I bet you're about to watch Game of Thrones. Yeah, I imagine. Last week's Game of Thrones knocked my socks off. I'm like gonna have I'm curious of how they're gonna come back this episode and make it worth our while, right? After all of that amazing stuff happened. But I'm excited. I'm watching. I mean, there's only 3 more episodes, which is kind of whack when you think about it. It's like, however, this is total tangent, but somebody did tell me yesterday that they're supposed to be having all of these spin-offs on the other characters that kind of give the backstory. So I think they're going to be telling us all about the White Walkers soon. So I think there's much more to come. I'm very excited about that. I'm just not ready for the whole saga to be done. So anyhow, yeah, so vision. So if you're living your life from this ordinary perspective, like just going through business as usual, like most people, what it looks like is you graduate from high school, you go on to college, you meet somebody, you get, watching last week's episode right now, nice. So you get married, you have some kids, you get a job, like a steady job, you get a house. It's like all of these things that you do because that's what is easiest, essentially. And you're not creatively thinking, you're not thinking outside of the box. You don't have people around you who are kind of snapping you out of this dream that you've put yourself in, this kind of like hypnosis, autopilot experience. But when you get into an environment where people are like creating extraordinary things, like actually getting in touch with like what they're on the planet to create, what their gifts are, what they wanted to be as kids and they just didn't ever believe was possible, then you've got somebody who's activated. when you've got somebody who's activated, the results that they can create are extraordinary. And so for most of us who are fairly, you know, I mean, myself, like I'm a smart person, but I'm definitely not top of the class, right? Like I would say I'm a creative genius, but I'm definitely not an IQ genius. And so there's things that I can there's levels that I can achieve, right? Just because I've got this commitment and I've got this vision and I'm committed to doing whatever it takes to make it happen, right? Like I'm an activated person. But let's imagine that I was like 3 times smarter than I am right now. And I was also activated. Like that's like an Elon Musk type character, right? So there's literally probably hundreds of millions of people out there, which is like insane to think about, but like hundreds of millions, possibly billions of people who are just like letting their lives pass them by because they're not activated. They're not connected with what would make a difference for them. They're not connected to what their passion and their deep inspiration and joy and like what turns them on as a human being. And so this is my call out to all of you people. If you're out there and you are not waking up every day like just overjoyed and excited to go out and live your life's purpose and live your dream, then man, like it's time. This is not a dress rehearsal. Everyone is going to eventually expire here, and why not make the best and most exciting and most amazing, joyful, fulfilled experience possible for yourself and for the other people on the planet? We're really at a place in history. Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's all the self-development work that I'm doing. You know, you look younger as you take your burdens off of your shoulders. So yeah, so we're at a place in history. This is the last thing I'll say on my like little harangue here. We're at a place in history when there's so many people on the planet that we get to activate ourselves and figure out why we're actually here. This is an amazing period in history, and we can create whatever we want because we are creative and we are powerful. But it's really going to take people turning their lights on, getting in touch with what's possible, getting in touch with like what their actual purpose is here. I do not want to live a mediocre life. Like if you're comfortable in a mediocrity, then you just haven't been tuned into what's possible for you, because there's a lot that we're missing out on. And this person was like proof of it for me. It's like, oh my gosh, like your life is way more ordinary than mine, and you could be like running the country. Like, wow, let's get you activated. Let's get you connected with what's possible. So anyhow, that was my thought over the last 24 hours, and I hope you guys all enjoy Game of Thrones if you're Thrones fans, and if you're not, I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday evening, and I'll be on here talking about whatever, God knows, whatever tomorrow. All right, bye.